Welcome to the MattyRocks Experience and another Friday night edition of the MattyRocks Experience Instagram live sessions on a Friday night. Thanks for joining me for interview number 4 of 2021. Tonight, I am going to welcome in a very talented individual, the long-awaited interview from musician and artist Chelsea Baker. Right now, Chelsea Baker, welcome.
Hi.
The long-awaited interview.
Yes.
That we had planned well into 2020 during a pandemic, which is still going on, obviously. And thank you for waiting all this time until I transitioned and got back into the groove.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
So I know that it's early in 2021, and how have you transitioned into the new year?
Well, it's been kind of tough. Just everything that's going on, it's crazy, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm getting back to my commissions, painting, and I do have a little live session show coming up with this band that I'm playing bass in for a little while. We were doing a lot of tours last year, but that all got canceled.
Right.
So we're doing a live session, hopefully within the next month or so. So just, keeping
Right.
up with work, trying at least.
Well, happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
And so what have you been doing? What have you been doing musically to keep yourself busy? We're going to talk about art a little bit later. But what are some of the things that you've been keeping really busy with to keep you fluid into music?
Well, I have a couple projects that I've been doing in the last few years. I play bass, and that's my big passion. I sing a little bit, but mostly bass. And I've been with the Ghost Town Rebellion for the past couple of years. They are an awesome rock band. We do 3-hour sets anywhere we can play, and they're a lot of fun. Just a great energy to be at a bar or a bigger venue or whatnot. So that's been a lot of fun. And then I have my passion project with my really good friend Devon Whitaker and our other friend John Takanikos. We're called Boy Indigo, and that's basically my passion project. That's where my heart in music is, more my vibe, my energy flowing through the music. So
If during this time, if there was one thing that you realized about yourself during this pandemic and during the shut-in process that maybe you've never really focused on before in your life, what would you say that is?
well, it's really believing in what I have, my artistic ability. When all of our shows got canceled musically, I kind of transitioned from that to painting more, and that really helped me mentally get through the tough times that we're all going through. And it really showed me that I need to just dive deep in my soul. I do have more to express, more to show, and so that was huge for me. And it was really eye-opening and humbling to know that I have that still. I have that ability to bring out my emotions through something else other than music when I wasn't able to. So
Right. Good for you.
yeah.
All right, let's dive into the music. Take us back to the early years of your life in Alameda, California, and give us some insight to how music and bass playing came into your life.
Well, my whole family is musically inclined. Like my mom's side, everyone in my family plays an instrument or is a singer. I grew up with my dad playing the organ all the time, and I would be right there next to him dancing while he's playing his organ. And then he switched to keyboard when we had when those came out. Instead of a huge organ, he went to a little electronic keyboard. And so yeah, I've been around music my whole life, and I actually first started playing saxophone when I was 10 or 11. And I got really into saxophone. And then I was practicing and practicing and rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing. And I guess going into my teens, I kind of just didn't really want to do it anymore. And then I was switching schools a lot because I was born up in this Alameda area, and then we moved down to LA. My whole family did when I was really young, and then we moved up to Sacramento when I was about 6 or 7. And then I transferred schools a lot, so I didn't have very many friends growing up. And then finally in junior high, I met these girls that they had to be my friend. You know, they were so awesome, and they're like metalheads and rocker chicks. And I'm like, I gotta be friends with them. And then we became friends, and we decided we wanted to start a band. And I actually wanted to play lead guitar, but the girls got their guitars before me. So I actually ended up playing bass. And I learned a lot about it. I didn't know much about it when I think we were 14 when we got our instruments. And so, yeah, I'm really glad that I ended up being the bass player, because that's just something I've loved ever since.
And you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, so 20 years now, 21 years this year. Yeah.
Good for you. Who were some of the musical influences early on in your life who have helped shape to make you the bass player that you are today?
Well, I did look up a lot to the old bass player from Incubus. I was a huge Incubus fan. I still am. I love Incubus. Lance Dirk, and he was amazing. And I loved the album Science. I think I said his name backwards, Dirk Lance. Wow, I haven't talked about him in a while. But yeah, I really loved their album Science. And so I really looked up to him as a bass player. And then I guess when I started taking bass lessons, one of the first songs that I learned was from the Beatles, and then Sublime as well. So those were stepping stones for me to get into playing rock and roll music. That's really how I first started. So, and then it kind of just went from there.
Right on. Some of the bands that you had mentioned earlier, like the Ghost Town Rebellion, and I know that there was a couple more, but playing in those bands, was there anything that those projects instilled in you that you carried forward to this day, to this current project that you're embarking on with Boy Indigo?
Oh yeah, definitely. I learned so much in the last big projects I was in. Like playing live is a huge thing. You know, playing 3-hour sets can be very draining, very hard. Rocking out too, you know, sweating, and it's a lot of work, you know. So having that ability to be able to do that is a huge thing for me. So definitely stage presence with the Ghost Town Rebellion. They're a high energy band and super awesome. We played some cool covers too, so that's always fun. The band before that, when I lived in San Diego for a little while, I was in a blues rock band called the Broken Stems, and they taught me a lot. I think I was 24 when I moved down there, and I was with Aurora for a very long time. And then after we broke up, I moved down to San Diego, and I'll tell you the truth, I didn't know how to read music. I didn't know where the notes were on my guitar. I didn't know at all. And so when I was missing being in a band, I I found the broken stems. They needed a bass player. They had a chick bass player before, so they're like, "Oh, we love that. That's awesome. Let's do this." And I get in, and I'm super nervous, and they're like, "Okay, we're in G," and I'm like, "Cool.
Where's
I
G?
don't know where that is." And they're like, "Well, you need to learn." So I just started learning. So that was a huge thing, a huge stepping stone in my music career, was to learn how, how to jam with strangers that, they just call out notes, and I can just go right to them and play the scales of whatever they're playing. And it really boosted my confidence level, and it made me feel, like I could do anything. And so that was really huge for me.
Good for you. Good for you. That's a huge hurdle to get over. I mean, when you have seasoned musicians like that, and you've got a nose to the grindstone, and you've got to learn that stuff. So good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, let's talk about the most recent project, your passion project, Boy Indigo, and and give us some insight to how that whole project came to be for you.
Um, well, when I first moved back up here to Sacramento, just I think it was 4 years ago now, I got a call from some old musician friends from back in the day and say, "Hey, come jam with us." And it was me, Devon, and John, and we had a good friend of theirs who played drums as well. And so I just go there and jam with them. And it was just a cool little jam session here and there, and then the keyboard player moved to Austin, Texas. And so I was like, "Oh, bummer," it was his studio that we were jamming in. And then Devon hit me up and he said, "Hey, if you're still interested in writing this music, come over to my studio. I have one in North Highlands," and I was pretty close to there. So me and him kind of just kept it going, and we started writing more music. We would send it to John, who was in Texas. He would write stuff and send it back. And that's pretty much how it blossomed. And then Devon and I would share our music to all of our musician friends, and everyone just had amazing feedback. So we thought, why not? Why not make this more than just a jam session, just jamming with buddies, So we still jam all the time. That's how we create a lot of the songs that we have out. And we do love to jam with other musicians. We have people that come in and play different tracks and stuff. And so, yeah, that's
Talk
how it
about
started.
talk about the other members of this group, and specifically, what do they bring? What do they bring to the group for you, collectively as a whole?
Well, Devon is basically the half of me that I don't have. Like, he's my other half. So I'm the same with him. I bring in ideas. He's the lyricist and the melody maker. He has all of these ideas just flowing through all the time. And I'm the one, I'm like, "Okay, let's do this one and put it here." And then I bring in my bass, and then we just kind of go from there. John is just genius on the keys. He's got like magic hands. He knows what he's doing. He's amazing. He brings in like some really cool key changes, and he's all over the place, and he has so many different toys too that we can bring into our recordings and stuff. So yeah, it's just a great little trio we got. I love it.
Okay. You guys seems like you mesh very well together, and play some really good music. From what I've heard of the music that I listen to, I really like this project.
Thank you.
It's very I don't know where to put it genre wise, but it's very groove. It's very just laid back, and it's really good music. So, anything I can do to help you guys get that music heard even more. I'm a resource for you, because I have some internet stations that we can get that in rotation for you. So
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you
Yeah,
so much. We would love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe we can do some type of a premiere or something where you guys with your upcoming premiere that you've got, which we'll talk about a little bit later,
Yeah.
of what's going on with this project.
Oh,
Uh, Another cool thing with projects, you know, when you guys do very well, people take notice of that, and that's endorsers. And you guys have some really cool endorsers for this project. Why don't you talk about who those endorsers are and what they mean to this project?
okay. So, I am endorsed with, well, I have been endorsed with ESP Guitars for a very long time. Um, but that was back in Aurora days. I actually have a new endorser right now with bass guitars. It's DNA Guitars. They are like a boutique, smaller company up in Auburn, Forest Hill area. The guy I work with, Ron, he's amazing, and DNA guitars are really cool because for me, I have small hands, and I'm a woman, so I'm smaller than men. So basses can get pretty heavy, and the necks are pretty wide. I play a 5-string bass, so those of always like being on the road and everything, playing lots of shows, it kind of just wears you down. And what's cool about DNA guitars is they're very lightweight basses, and the 5-string it's the kind that I have is a jazz style, and their necks are light and they're smooth and they're a little thinner, so I can reach around and get every note that I need to get. So I really enjoy the DNA guitars. Um, Also, I have a Mesa Boogie endorsement. Their amps are amazing. I have the Subway D800 watt. It's so small and lightweight. It's only 8 pounds. Great for me.
Right.
My last amp was like 50 pounds. So this is just a huge difference. And the power is just the same, which is amazing. So Mesa's pretty awesome. They help me out. They've helped me out since Aurora days as well. They've been with me for a long time. And then we have Clear Tone Strings endorsement. They are chemically treated strings, and they last a long time. And I like that because I don't have to change my strings as much. So it's really awesome. And then the coating, usually like they have the web coating, but Cleartone has the chemical coating, so it doesn't like fray or anything like that when you're playing, which is great. And then we have Devon has a few endorsements too. He's endorsed with Haunted Labs pedals, String Joy, and Rattlesnake cables. So we both use the Rattlesnake cables. Yeah.
A lot of cool endorsers you named off there.
Yeah, thank you. I'm super, super stoked and honored to be with them. So
Right on. Obviously, one key piece of the puzzle is the fans and how important they are to a project. And you guys have a lot of neat ways for the fans and followers to partake in what you're doing. Why don't you talk about how some of those ways that the fans and followers can interact and be a part of your project and also be rewarded?
okay, yeah. We just started the Indigo Tribe, and we're super stoked about it. We just got this. If you subscribe to our fan club, we give you the sneak peeks at all of our upcoming singles or our videos that we're bringing out. Everyone who's on our fan club gets to see all that first. Also, we have little packages that we'll be sending out to everyone on our fan club, just a thank you. Songs. So we have a text number that you can just text to ask to be a part of the subscribe with the fan club, and then we also have a sign up link, and that link is on our boyindigo.music Instagram page. So the text number is 323-629-8041. And you just text us and say, we want to be a part of your fan club. And you get to join, and we'll send you some cool stuff.
Right on. So anyone who's listening and who's going to listen to this, make sure you go check out all that stuff, because you've got some cool ways for you guys to be rewarded. What's coming up for you guys musically? I know that we've got a big project coming up. A big release.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be releasing in February. I don't know the date just yet. Devon likes to keep things until last minute. But it's going to be our very first music video premiere, full-length music video, with our new single. And the single is called Fading In and Out. It's one of our favorite songs out there that we thought would be great as our single. And yeah, that's going to be coming out. And then we just have a bunch of cool videos that we like to do as well, and we'll always be sending those out, especially to people who are part of our fan club.
Well, I know that the owner of Lucky Star Radio just joined our live, just tuned in. So maybe we can do something to where we do a premiere of that song for you.
Okay, that would be great. Yes, I would love that.
And I think,
we would love that.
Maybe we'll air the interview the same night and then roll right into the premiere.
Perfect. Sounds awesome.
I'll talk with Diggy Cat. Diggy Cat, if you're listening, we'll talk later.
That would be great. Right. Thank you.
So this is kind of a two-part question. This can be for yourself, and this can be for Boy Indigo. But what do you want the world to know about your music that maybe they don't know about? What do you want them to? What do you want to tell them?
Personally, my music, it really helps express, as an artist, my emotions, especially with Boy Indigo. It's running, everything I play just runs through my veins. It's my mind, my body, my soul. I'm just pouring it out in that project. And so personally, definitely that. That's just me. And then Boy Indigo, our message that we want to send out is just, Devon is a very artistic person, and his lyrics are poetry. They're beautiful. So he has his own ways of expressing what he wants to express, but the music in general is it's a new vibe. It's a new different genre that people can't really put into place. But it's like when you're home alone and in the dark, you're trying to go to sleep or trying to rest your busy mind, just turn on our music, and it can really help you flow emotionally into what we're feeling. And that is always more of just a chill, really deep, like get deep into your head kind of feel. That's
right on. Well, that it sounds good to me, and I will tell you that I'm going to check out more of the music, and I'm going to put it on when I can't sleep to see if that works.
I do that a lot, so I feel like it will work.
All right, Chelsea, I want you to dig deep here, and I want you to reflect back on the 19 years? 19 years? 20 years?
20 years, yeah.
20 years. I want you to reflect back on those 20 years so far musically, and I want you to tell me, what do you think your biggest musical accomplishment has been to date?
My biggest musical accomplishment. Well, wow. I feel like I just keep making more accomplishments in what I'm doing musically. I had some pretty amazing experiences when I was in Aurora, when I was younger. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I don't think any of us did. And we went through this crazy storm, this ride, and it was awesome, and it was terrible. And and I got to experience things that I've never been able to experience. One of them being we got to play in front of 10,000 people at the Arco Arena. We opened up for My Chemical Romance because we won this competition for local bands to be a part of the big show. And it was My Chemical Romance, Gnarls Barkley, and I believe Papa Roach. And so we got to open up for My Chemical Romance. It was like 3 or 4 songs, but oh my gosh, I think I blacked out because I was so like excited to be able to play in front of that many people. That was definitely a once in a lifetime thing so far. So that was amazing. When I was in San Diego with the Broken Stems, we worked really hard to try to get out there. And one amazing adventure I will never forget is I got to go on tour with Broken Stems and then I think 7 other bands in San Diego, and we caravanned in two vans and a bus, and we drove all the way down through Mexico to Cabo San Lucas, and it was like a 7-day trip. And we drove, it took us 2.5 days to get down there, and all the bands played in front of, I think there was about 5,000 people. It was a women's surfing competition. And so all these bands from San Diego got to go to Mexico and play in front of all these people. And it was a 2-day event, and then we drove back. And so we camped out on the side of the road, on the side of the highway in the middle of Mexico. We were in the middle of one of the bigger storms that happened. That was crazy. It flooded one of the highways, so we had to camp out and until they cleared the road and was able to get cars to go through, because there was basically a huge river running through this highway. We got to stay at this beautiful little beach bungalow area in the middle of nowhere. It was a man who owned a restaurant and a couple cabins, and we parked there one night when we were driving really late, and we got to stay there. He cooked us fresh fish that they just caught in the bay, and we went swimming, and there was bioluminescence in the water, and it was like no lights anywhere, so like you could see all the stars, and it was just a magical journey I will never forget. And then also playing with some amazing bands like Hyrie and Tomorrow's Bad Seeds. So it was pretty amazing. And we made a bunch of friends. Nobody knew really anybody. And then the end of the trip, we all still talk to each other. And this was like 7 years ago. We're all still friends, you know? So
that's good.
It was pretty amazing.
A lot of big accomplishments for you. Good job. Nice.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to shift focus now because we're going to shift to Chelsea Baker, the artist. Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about your artist life and what that's all about. So, when did the passion for your artistic side, when did that come to be for you?
Well, it was one of my first memories. I was 4 or 5 years old, and I started sketching. So I would just look at things and want to copy them. Like, I want to draw that. And my brother was a great artist. He always drew caricatures. And so that was really cool. So I tried to copy him all the time. And so, yeah, I started when I was really young and kept it going, sketching, but never really got into painting until about 8 or 9 years ago.
Who were the did you have influences early on as like music? Did you have people in the art world that you were like, wow, that person's amazing, you looked up to them?
I can't say, like, maybe people close to me, like a couple really good friends of mine who were amazing at their work, and my brother too. Really, those were the people that I looked up to and kind of drew me to continue doing art. Other than that, no, I just always put it aside. I always put it behind me. It wasn't my ultimate passion, you know, but I did enjoy doing it. I just never thought I was good enough, you know. So it was an interesting thing.
Well, we know you're good at it now.
Thanks.
That's for
I do have more confidence now. And it's just been in the last year. Really, the pandemic just boosted my confidence to just do it. So
good for you.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Does art ever influence your music, or vice versa? The music influence your art?
Yes, very much so. Pretty much all of my projects I've been in, I have done art for those projects. So definitely inspires me to do paintings, grab ideas, something like, yeah, like Devon and I talk, he's on right now. Hi, Devon. Devon and I talk all the time about what we can do to make our project more than just music. It's because you know, he's so talented in videography and poetry, and then I have my art and my painting, and so I've been doing, like, I've been trying to do our logos, and then I have ideas for different things that we're doing with the flowers and all that. So yeah, it definitely combines and makes more inspiration through music.
How has the pandemic impacted you as an artist per se?
Well, it definitely is the best thing that happened for me as an artist. I really had no other outlet, and it pushed me to do that. I lost my job, and I had to hustle. I had to figure it out. I didn't know what to do. And so, yeah, it definitely was a blessing in disguise.
Blessing and a curse at the same time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I know you've had some big accomplishments with your art. I want you to talk about those and give those some airtime.
Okay, so like I said, I really have been just more focused in the last year. So before the pandemic hit, I did reach out to Raw Artists Productions. Back in 2019, I did do an art show with Raw. They do, I don't know if you're familiar with Raw Artists, but they are all around the world basically. And so they help local communities, get all of the local artists together and do this amazing art show and raise money and raise awareness of what artists are out there. And so I reached out to them because I did, back in San Diego, my band Broken Stems, we did a Raw showcase in San Diego. And I thought, wow, I should do it with my painting. And so I got in it. I sold the tickets. I had a super successful show, and that really boosted everything for me. So that I'm really proud of, and all the people who came to support me. It was just an amazing night, and I wish I could do it again. And I can't wait till Raw comes back and we're able to have thousands of people in one building at one time. I don't know when that's going to be, but I'm really glad I was able to experience it before it went away. And I also was able to work for Raw for a couple more events. I became their production assistant. So I did the venue tours, and I helped the artists get their setups going. I did the step-by-step instructions. And yeah, it was pretty amazing. I also did art instructing, paint and sip nights before the pandemic hit, and that was a lot of fun. My biggest class I taught was 40 students, and it was pretty crazy because there were supposed to be 2 instructors that night, and one of them did a no-show, so I had to instruct all of the 40 students, and usually it's a smaller group of people that you teach, but they were so great. It was like a Christmas work party, and everyone was having so much fun, and really enjoyed my time of being up there and teaching them how to paint a cool autumn tree path painting. It was a lot of fun. I also had started doing pet portraits. Last year I started doing pet portraits, and now I'm moving on to human portraits, or whatever else people want. I'm just starting to do that. And last year I compared my very first pet portrait I did to the ones I do now. And it's just like night and day with, doing so many. I've progressed so fast, and I'm proud of myself for that. And so I'm really happy that I'm able to get people to ask me to do their pets. And it's a beautiful thing because, people asking for remembrance portraits for their animals who passed, that they love so much, and it brings so much joy to them. And even for living animals, just to have that ability to give someone that forever, it's an amazing thing. And I'm super happy about it.
Right on. You mentioned, the art instructing. When you facilitate a class, what lesson or advice do you want those students to walk away with each and every time that you do one of those?
A big thing is what Bob Ross always says. There's no mistakes, only happy accidents. And I have to tell myself that every single time I'm painting too, because I am a perfectionist, and I'm sure there's a lot of perfectionists out there, but that's not what it's all about. It's about having fun with it and seeing what that mistake could turn into. It's not a mistake, it's a happy accident. So that's very important. It's just to have fun and enjoy it, and see where your creativity leads you, and have an open mind too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm feeling a commissioned MattyRocks piece of art coming soon. I don't know. I think I'm gonna have to have you do something for me.
Awesome. I would love to. Thank you.
I've never had any artwork done like that, so I might have to. I'm gonna forward something your way.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
What do you want the world to know about you as an artist in your work?
Well, my company is called Enlightened Art. So everything that I do is a form of enlightenment in my life, experiences that I've had, or other people have had their own interpretations of what is reality and what we all go through. Also, the world can be pretty brutal and ugly. So I like to paint something that makes me feel like it's a little less ugly and more beautiful. I want to show my art, and I want people to be enlightened and feel happy and see the bright colors and know that there is, a light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. So
right on. Where are you going to direct people who want to find out more about your art?
Well, I have my Instagram, which is this one, at chillsbake11. I also have a Facebook. It's what is my link? I just changed it. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, I have my Facebook page as well. Enlightened Art. Let's see. Yeah, Chelsea Baker EAS. Chelsea Baker EAS. Sorry, I just changed it. But yeah, that's basically where I have all my social media platforms, is just Facebook and Instagram. And then also I have my art gallery. I have a website. If you go on my profile on Instagram, you just click the link in my bio, and that will take you to my art gallery, which has everything that I've done. I do need to update it. I haven't updated it in a little bit because I've been so busy with different pet portraits, but I will upload those on there. And yeah, you can see all of my artwork on that link in my bio.
Wonderful. Go check her work out. Chelsea, what does the future hold for you? Is musically or artistic wise?
Well, I have high hopes for my future artistically, and musically. I'm hoping that this can be something that I can do for the rest of my life as a living. That is a huge dream, and I know it's going to be very difficult to accomplish, but I'm working my way up. So I just hope I can share the world, share my art and my music with the world, basically.
Right on. Chelsea, I'm going to give you the same opportunity that I give every music artist that I have the opportunity to sit one-on-one with. And that is a message to MattyRocks listeners who are going to potentially hear and see this interview, not only in the United States, but around the world. What would you like to say to them?
Thank you so much for watching and listening and just taking a chance with, people out there that are just striving to show their artistic abilities in every way. It's one of the hardest things to do out there because there's no support, and except you guys, all of you are supporting us, and thank you so much. And let's keep compassion alive. That's my motto for 2021 is let's turn this anger around, and let's all just show love and support toward everyone and everything that we can. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, good message. Chelsea, is there anything that I've missed that you would like to add?
Just that we have a bunch of links, but I guess if you go to my Instagram, you'll find my art links, and then boyindigo.music is our Instagram page, and that has our links on there. And for our fan club, you can text us. It has the number on there. I'll say the number one more time. It is 323-629-8041. And that's our Indigo Tribe fan club. And you get gifts and you get releases before anyone else gets to see them. And thank you very much. And I think that's it.
Right on. Chelsea, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me for this conversation. Thank you for, waiting for me, like I said earlier in the interview, for me getting my stuff back on track, during the pandemic and coming into a new year. Continued success to you in every